So if I played 400 rounds of Monopoly with you and I had to play and give you every dime that I made, and then for 50 years, every time that I played, if you didn't like what I did, you got to burn it like they did in Tulsa and like they did in Rosewood. How can you win? How can you win? You can't win. The game is fixed. So when they say, why do you burn down the community? Why do you burn down your own neighborhood? It's not ours. We don't own anything. We don't own anything. Trevor Noah said it so beautifully last night. There's a social contract that we all have. That if you steal or if I steal, then the person who is the authority comes in and they fix the situation. But the person who fixes the situation is killing us. So the social contract is broken. And if the social contract is broken, why the fuck do I give a shit about burning the fucking Football Hall of Fame, about burning a fucking Target? You broke the contract when you killed us in the streets and didn't give a fuck. You broke the contract when for 400 years we played your game and built your wealth. You broke the contract when we built our wealth again on our own by our bootstraps in Tulsa, and you dropped bombs on us.
Hello everybody, welcome again to the Stephen Williams Show. This morning I have something that I want to share with the black people in general who are protesting over the killing of George Floyd. There's a lot that is going around. Most of it is about how marginalized the black people are around the world in general, but especially so in the United States, Canada, and England. There is no doubt to anyone, and there should be no doubt in anyone's mind, that yes, black people in general have been suppressed throughout the centuries by the white people. There's a video that I watched the other day, and this young lady, she really put it well.
So I've been seeing a lot of things talking of the people making commentary. Interestingly enough, the ones I've noticed that have been making the commentary are wealthy black people, making the commentary about we should not be rioting, we should not be looting, we should not be tearing up our own communities. And then there's been an argument of the other side of we should be hitting them in the pocket. We should be focusing on the blackout days where we don't spend money. But, you know, I feel like we should do both. And I feel like I support both. And I'll tell you why I support both. I support both because when you have a civil unrest like this, there are three types of people in the streets. There are the protesters, there are the rioters, and there are the looters. The protesters are there because they actually care about what is happening in the community. They want to raise their voices, and they are there strictly to protest. You have the rioters who are angry, who are anarchists, who really just want to fuck shit up, and that's what they're going to do regardless. And then you have the looters. And the looters almost exclusively are just there to do that, to loot. Now, people are like, well, what did you gain? Well, what did you get from looting? I think that as long as we're focusing on the what, we're not focusing on the why. And that's my issue with that. As long as we're focusing on what they're doing, we're not focusing on why they're doing. And some people are like, well, those aren't people who are legitimately angry about what's happening. Those are people who just want to get stuff. Okay, well then, Let's go with that. Let's say that's what it is. Let's ask ourselves why in this country in 2020, the financial gap between poor blacks and the rest of the world is at such a distance that people feel like their only hope and only opportunity to get some of the things that we flaunt and flash in front of them all the time is to walk through a broken glass window and get it. That they are so hopeless that getting that necklace, getting that TV, getting that change, getting that bed, getting that phone, whatever it is that they're going to get, is that in that moment when the riots happen and if they present an opportunity of looting, that's their only opportunity to get it. We need to be questioning that. Why are people that poor? Why are people that broke? Why are people that food insecure, that clothing insecure, that they feel like their only shot, that they are shooting their shot by walking through a broken glass window to get what they need? And then people want to talk about, well, there's plenty of people who pulled themselves up out of bootstraps and got it on their own. Why can't they do that? Let me explain to you something about economics in America. And I'm so glad that as a child I got an opportunity to spend time at Push where they taught me this, is that we must never forget that economics was the reason that black people were brought to this country. We came to do the agricultural work in the South and the textile work in the North. Do you understand that? That's what we came to do. We came to do the agricultural work in the South and the textile work in the North. Now, if I right now decided that I wanted to play Monopoly with you, and for 400 rounds of playing Monopoly, I didn't allow you to have any money, I didn't allow you to have anything on the board, I didn't allow for you to have anything, and then we played another 50 rounds of Monopoly, and everything that you gained and you earned while you were playing that round of Monopoly was taken from you. That was Tulsa, that was Rosewood. Those are places where we built black economic wealth, where we were self-sufficient, where we owned our stores, where we owned our property, and they burned them to the ground. So that's 450 years. So for 400 rounds of Monopoly, you don't get to play at all. Not only do you not get to play, you have to play on the behalf of the person that you're playing against. You have to play and make money and earn wealth for them, and then you have to turn it over to them. So then for 50 years, you finally get a little bit and you're allowed to play. And every time that they don't like the way that you're playing, or that you're catching up, or that you're doing something to be self-sufficient, they burn your game. They burn your cards. They burn your Monopoly money. And then finally at the release and the onset of that, they allow you to play and they say, okay, now you catch up. Now at this point, the only way you're going to catch up in the game is if the person shares the wealth, correct? But what if every time you share the wealth, then there's psychological warfare against you to say, oh, you're an equal opportunity hire. So if I played 400 rounds of Monopoly with you and I had to play and give you every dime that I made, and then for 50 years, every time that I played, if you didn't like what I did, you got to burn it like they did in Tulsa and like they did in Rosewood, how can you win? How can you win? You can't win. The game is fixed. So when they say, why do you burn down the community? Why do you burn down your own neighborhood? It's not ours. We don't own anything. We don't own anything. Trevor Noah said it so beautifully last night. There's a social contract that we all have. That if you steal or if I steal, then the person who is the authority comes in and they fix the situation. But the person who fixes the situation is killing us. So the social contract is broken. And if the social contract is broken, why the fuck do I give a shit about burning the fucking Football Hall of Fame, about burning a fucking Target? You broke the contract when you killed us in the streets and didn't give a fuck. You broke the contract when for 400 years we played your game and built your wealth. You broke the contract when we built our wealth again on our own, by our bootstraps in Tulsa, and you dropped bombs on us. When we built it in Rosewood and you came in and you slaughtered us. You broke the contract, so fuck your Target. Fuck your Hall of Fame. As far as I'm concerned, they could burn this bitch to the ground. And it still wouldn't be enough. And they are lucky that what black people are looking for is equality and not revenge.
The essence of what she was saying is that the game is fixed against black people. Yeah? The game is fixed. Every turn they turn, they get burned, so to speak. But you know, I am not going to buy into all that negativity, because you see, everything in our life starts here. Our thinking becomes our reality. If you begin to look at life that and say that, oh, the game is fixed, you can't achieve anything, and there's no way for you to get by, etc., etc., then you start acting that way. Your perception becomes your reality. And while it is true that black people have less opportunity, they're marginalized, and you know, and I can testify to that, because I too am a black man. I may have brown skin, but I'm a black man. Once you're not white, you're black in this world and these countries. And I've lived in Canada for the past 11 years, and so I have encountered racism that is not blatant, it is subtle. For instance, the area even which I live now, it's like 99.9999% white. You don't see black people where I am. You may encounter once in a while, but there are not many white people where I am. And it is God that I think that has led me down here. But that's beside the point. So I have applied for jobs many times. When I used to do trucking, I'm a pastor, yes. But when you come to these countries, you gotta do what you gotta do to survive and feed your family and get by. So I decided to go drive a truck. That was where the jobs were. It was very hard to apply for jobs and get it anyway, because it's dominated by agencies right now in Canada. And I have seen truck drivers wanted, and I have taken in my resume, got turned down, never get a call. The next year, I pass back, I see the same sign. Drivers wanted. Take in my resume, nothing, no response. I got fed up one day and I went in the office and said, last year you advertised for drivers, and this year you advertised again for drivers, and I've given you my resume, you never give me a call. So I knew that was racism. I've been to companies already that they advertise, like on Facebook or wherever, Kijiji, that they want drivers. Go there, sorry, we don't have any job. So I've been there, you know, get the interviews, never get the call. So yes, we are marginalized, but let me tell you something. That is why I continue to say, you see, when you allow God to rule your life, whether people like you or not, whether you're black, you're white or brown, when you allow God to be the author of your life, nobody can stop you from achieving your goal. I can testify of that. Because despite all of that, I still today it's 11 years. Not today, but, well, let me say this. It's 11 years. It's 11 years since I've been living in Canada. And I have achieved so much, and a lot of it has to do with not luck, but blessing and making the right moves. People, you got to make the right moves. You got to listen to the voice of God and move when you need to move. So today, I can say, after 11 years of coming here, and I've seen a lot of people who have been here for like 30, 40 years have nothing. I'm not boasting. Today I have my home is paid for. Nothing, not even a cent on my home. And that's in a white area. Today, when I look at my credit card balance, I just paid. I don't carry credit card balances because I've done a consumer proposal already and learned the hard way that you not to carry the balances because they mount up so fast. So I pay when they're due or pay before they're due. I use it like cash. I have the cash in my bank account. I use the card and go home and pay. That's how I run my life now after that. Almost like a bankruptcy. I decided, even though I'm qualified to get any vehicle I want, because here it doesn't matter your credit, you can get any vehicle you want once you have an income. But I've decided that I'm not going to put myself in a car debt. And I prayed for a car, and God sent me where the car was. I saw the car, a $5,000 car, selling for $1,200. Short of it, I paid $1,000 for it. So I owe nothing on my car. I had planned to go back to school to get a degree in counseling. I decided against it and say, you know what, let me live for my kids. And I'm done with school. And so I would have owed about, maybe the government about $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. We still have that to pay for. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. So I owe nobody anything. Thank you, Jesus. Nobody anything. Living in Canada, where opportunities are limited when you're black. And I am saying to you, how did I do that? I read a lot. Most people will know that the majority of people have been touched by a guy named Robert Kiyosaki. God bless him. I read his book way back in the 90s when I was young and thing, and I learned a few principles from that book. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Everybody is supposed to know about that book. If you don't know about that book, get it and read it. Awesome. So I have not followed this concept entirely, but he opened my mind to something and I've been applying it. Like, for instance, he would tell you home is not an asset. But for me, it is an asset. Because if I didn't own a home in Jamaica, I would not have had the money to sell that home after my divorce. I would not have had the money to migrate to Canada. So I believe in owning. It's because of the proceeds from that home that I was able to have the money to come to Canada, because you need at least 15,000. I had 19,000 Canadian when I came here. Came here, I was living in people's basement, and I worked, got out. Those days you just need $5,000 to pay down on a home with good credit. I did that, you know, and I was qualified for the loan. Then the bargains, the madness started, where people were just bidding up the prices of home. I took advantage and I sold, pay off the bank, and used what was left to buy something in a white area that was very cheap, needed fixing up. I bought it, and today, God is a miracle worker, my friend, when you serve him. Roof needed repairs. Everything is just, yeah, it was really a hard house to sell, but I bought it. And today, God sent somebody to help me repair my roof, half the price. You know, that's another story in itself. I am saying this to say that when you're serving God, all things are possible. And I can only say that because I don't know about not serving God. I know about serving God. So I can't speak for people who don't serve God and still prosper. I have to speak about my situation. Yeah? I have to speak about my situation. When I look, for instance, in America, didn't a black man become the president? When you look in the field of athletics, isn't a black man who achieved the highest height in sprinting from Jamaica, Usain Bolt? When you think of the NBA, who dominates the NBA? It's black people, because they're strong, they're powerful. Maybe that is why the envy is so bad against blacks. When you go into the Olympics, and not just the sprints, but the endurance races, who dominates those races? The black people. They're strong, they're powerful. That's why they're hated and envied. You're envied because of your strength. You're envied because of your blackness, your power. And white people know that. They know that we are strong, we're powerful people. And that's why they try to psych us out and make us feel that we're nothing. And they get a monopoly and force and power and use it against us. Yeah? Because they're afraid. They're scared of what we can do when we're united and when our brain is in and our mind is in the right place. Check out all the endurance sports that require physical power and prowess. And tell me who dominates those sports. Boxing, name it. Mike Tyson. You hardly know of a white boxer that dominated the sports. Hardly. I don't say there's none. But I can't think of any. But when it comes to the black, take soccer, endurance. Take any sport that requires physical power. No wonder why they enslaved us. Because we are strong, we're powerful. We're like mules. Huh? They use us because we're strong. You know? And they're scared of us because of our ability. So don't let anybody fool you. You can achieve whatever you want. Just fix your mind first. It all begins up here. I could have said that, well, you know, when I came here and a lot of them were so racist, I could say, you know what, I'm going back home. But I didn't do that. I depended upon God's blessing and I did what I have to do. If it's a truck, I need to drive a truck. Regardless of how much degrees I have, I drove a truck. And I achieve. I know of many black people who have achieved and who are achieving. The secret is the mind. The secret is educating the mind. Stop being a victim. Be a victor. Stop being a victim. Be a victor. Stop saying, oh, everything is stacked up against us, oh, they hate us, oh, they're killing us. Stop. Because the next thing I need to point out to you is that, you see, most of us, black people, and I see some videos circulating, and it's a disgrace how we talk to the policemen. When you call in these, because you have freedom of speech, you feel that every word that comes to your mouth, you must let it out on the police. Look, I've been in America already and get lost on the highway and I pull over and it's a policeman that helped me. It's a policeman that helped me. They are not going to come to kill you and shoot you. It's not true. But sometimes our attitude also encourages. Sometimes it's what we're involved in. And with due respect to George Floyd, obviously the guy was involved in something that led to a police. And you want to stay out of trouble if you're marginalized. You want to keep your ass out of trouble. Since as you're marginalized, since as the game is stacked against you, what you need to do is strategize. Yeah? And don't tell me that the doors are locked, because there are black people right now on the internet teaching people how to make money on the internet. There are black people there in America doing things to achieve their goals in life for themselves and their family. So don't tell me that black people are so marginalized that they can't achieve anything. It's not true. Right now with YouTube, Everybody has access to free education. Free education. There's a site named Udemy. Free, cheap, not free, but cheap. You can pay for an education for like $150, from $14 to $150 up. Anything you want to learn, any little skill, whether it's real estate investing, it's stock market, whether it's what the rich people are doing. You can learn the skills too. You don't have to depend on certain people and a job and all of that, yeah? You don't have to. You can achieve if you set your mind right. Yes, they may put up wall fences, but let them put it up. When you have ambition and God on your side, you still can jump over those walls, black people. Stop saying you're marginalized. Stop behaving that way. It's going to become your reality. Look at the example of black people who have achieved and are achieving. If Barack Obama had that mentality today, he would not have been a two-time president in America, a black man in the White House. So don't tell me that the game is rigged and stacked against you. What you need to do is understand principles to follow. Apply those principles. Educate your mind. Get books. Read it. If it's rich you want to get rich, read books on how to get rich. Watch videos on how to get rich. If it's how to achieve, get books. Don't just sit down and watch television and say you're marginalized. Come on, black people. It's time for all of you to wise up. You can achieve no matter where you are. If you have God on this side and if you have ambition, and I have to include God because He has always been my source. Let's see, even my church, the Adventist church, reject me from giving me a job. But what did I do? I didn't say, well, you know, they rejected me, so I'm just going to become a nobody and just go smoke weed and just go drink and drown in my sorrows. No. I go drive my truck, and today God has blessed me to the point where, as I said before, everything paid for. And I got some savings in the bank. To God be the glory. And my family is not hungry. So no matter what people do against you, whether it's with your church brothers, when I was going through my hell, when my president, the Seventh-day Adventist Conference president from Ontario, called the cops on me and let them arrest me. Yeah? My own church people turn their back against me. People who I used to bless up. You don't hear from them. Friends turn their back against me. You know, I was watching a documentary with a clipping of a lion who ventured out and he strayed. And he was among hyenas, found himself in the pack of hyenas surrounding him, biting him, trying to kill him. And it shows that when he was exhausted and almost ready to give in, there comes one of his friends, his lion. The lion come and look and saw what was size up the situation and run to him. And by the time he run to that lion, to his friend, the hyena scattered. And the two of them is like, he said, thank you very much, just saved me. Let me tell you something. That's me. Everybody abandoned me. The church folks, most of them, not everybody. Let me be balanced. A lot of them, most of them has abandoned me. I'm talking about friends, people who you thought you were your friends. Abandoned me. I've not heard from some of them even now. The church folks, they don't call me. You understand? When you need them, they're nowhere there to be found. And that's why I say I don't have faith in organization and religion any longer. I have faith in God, not organization and name brand church. I don't wear labels again. My faith is founded up on Jesus Christ and God Almighty. And as I said in a previous video, the Bible says, as many as receive him, to them gave he power to become not Adventist, not Catholic, not Baptist, but as many as received Jesus Christ, to them he gave power to become sons of God. That's all you want, to be a son of God. Your God is in your closet. You don't have to go in a building. You go to know God. You don't have to go into a building to know God, but you can stay in your closet in your home and know God. Yes. And do I go to church? Yes, I would go back to church when the time is when church open. But that's a factor in, because see, right now this shutdown has taught us that you can stay home indeed and be a child of God. Because a lot of people don't believe that. If he say, oh, if you don't go to church, you don't go to that building, you're gonna be lost. No, during this shutdown, everybody's lost then. Let me tell you something, people. I know I strayed a little because that's always a burden on my mind, you know. But whether church folks, whether white people, it doesn't matter. Let God be your guide and he will provide. My God that I serve doesn't only create us, but he also provides for us. He doesn't just provide for us, he preserves us. He protects us. He presides over us. So no matter what people try to do, you can achieve your goals in life if you be smart and get God's blessing. So black people, please stop. Stop the beating down of yourself. And if you go to one place in America and you can't achieve, listen, go to another part. Jesus, when he was persecuted, he went from city to city. When you see something is stuck against you, go somewhere else. America is big. The world is big. You don't have to stay in one little city that you're marginalized. You can go elsewhere. I have been to several, since I've been here, I've lived quite a few places. And even though I'm in a white area and you find some kind of racism, Canada, the people in Canada is not as friendly as they make it seem. They smile and do the little hypocritical thing with you and think you're stupid. But let me tell you something. We're not stupid. Some of the smirks that they give you don't not genuine. But I don't watch them. I don't come here to watch white people or to watch anybody. You know. So set up yourself. Set up yourself. Anyway, my time has run out. I hope that you got something from this. Remember to give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and to share it, and to also leave a comment, and to turn on the notification bell so that when I do a video, you will be notified. Thank you very much. God bless you. Be empowered. We are not victims. We are victors. The Bible says we are more than conquerors through Jesus Christ. We are conquerors, not failures, not losers. Conquerors, more than it, as a matter of fact. Not just conquerors, more than conquerors. Take care of yourself. Blessed.